Let's see if we...
Yeah, it's I think 4 a.m. something like that in the US. So
Oh, maybe in um in the UK, in Europe. Okay, are you ready?
Ooh, emergency podcast after the Porzingis trade. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I'm just reading your tweet. I thought this was urgent. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Sorry, go.
Okay. Guys, welcome to the 4 Point Play. It's an emergency podcast for the first time ever. So me and I, man, I'm gonna start again.
All right, take two.
All right, take two. 1, 2, 3. Everyone, welcome to the 4 Point Play podcast. This is an emergency podcast because
Woohoo!
this morning, Sami, the Knicks acquired Danny Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and 2 future first round picks. You know what? You know who for? You know what happened?
Tell me. I
Man,
don't know. I was
man,
I
this
was
sucks. I
sleeping.
think we need a third take. I
Sorry,
think
I
we need
wasn't ready for your question.
No, that's good. No, it's me. I don't know what to say. But the third take is gonna be good.
All right, just be yourself.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Cool. Welcome to the 4 Point Play podcast. This is an emergency episode. We are obviously going to talk about the crazy trade where Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn, has been traded to Dallas. Sami, how are you? Are you still alive? How do you feel?
I'm still alive, but I didn't think that was the emergency we were going to talk about. I thought we were going to talk about my boy Rudy Gobert not being selected for the All-Star game.
Dude, please, let's not talk about it. I think you're absolutely right. Gobert deserve to be in the All-Star game. But let's talk about this
Thank
crazy,
you.
crazy, crazy trade. You know, you and I have been WhatsApping since the first hours of the day. It's unbelievable. So just to quickly sum it up, the Knicks have traded Porzingis and Tim Hardaway Jr., Trey Burke, and Conley Lee to the Dallas Mavericks. So in doing this, the Knicks have acquired Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and 2 future first-round picks. One unprotected in 2021 and one protected 1 to 10 in 2023. Don't forget that Dallas, in order to get Doncic last year, also gave one draft pick to the Hawks. That draft pick is protected 1-5 in 2020. If it's not gonna get it, if the Hawks are not gonna get it in 2020, it's gonna be a protected 1-3 in 2021 or in 2022, or it's gonna be completely unprotected in 2023. Man, Porzingis to Dallas, Porzingis to the Mavericks. And also, before I ask you my question, let's not forget that Porzingis is planning to sign the qualifying offer with the Dallas Mavericks. What
It's not
does
fully confirmed, I think.
Well, shut up. I have my sources. what
Okay.
what does that mean? That he would probably play for a year under a 1 year contract, and then will hit unrestricted free agency in 2020. But like you
Mm.
said, it's not certain. Again, Charania said that it's quite certain, and obviously he would start. A big conversation. Porzingis hasn't played in a year. He tore his ACL. Are you sure he wants to bet on his career instead of just saying no to a probably over 100 million contract by the Dallas Mavericks?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But my question is, tell me what do you think in 30 seconds, because I'm so excited. I don't even know what to say, man.
Amazing trade. I think the big thing about this trade is that no one was really expecting it, and within literally 30 minutes, we had reports of Porzingis being unhappy with the Knicks, sort of. Not necessarily sure about the direction they were going, and suddenly he's traded to the Mavericks. This is insane. I mean, I don't know what to think. The New York Knicks either have direct inside information that Kevin Durant is signing with them this summer, or they're just completely stupid
Oblivious.
and are just a complete I'm sorry, but screwed up franchise which cannot find a way to win in this league. They had one of the best young assets in the league, and they traded him for basically cap space to be able to sign hypothetically this summer KD, well, two of the top free agents, KD, possibly Kyrie, who would be, I guess, the two primary targets. And I mean, they traded away their biggest asset for this now. What's the point of doing this now when the guy's injured? He's not going to play until this summer. They could have done it this summer. Same thing. Possibly Porzingis could have played a few games where they would have seen that he's still great, and then he would have increased his value. So I completely do not understand what the Knicks did. Bad for them, too bad for them, great for Dallas. I'm very happy that Porzingis and Doncic are going to be reunited. There were lots of talks about this is the new Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki all over again. Obviously, just because it's two white guys who can play NBA. So that's, I don't see it this way, but I'm really excited about these two young prospects and NBA players playing with Dallas, and I hope that Dallas will get back into certainly in the playoff conversations probably next year and the years in the future years to come. So really excited for Dallas, really sad for the New York because they really don't know what they're doing.
But man, think about the Knicks. I mean, I understand your anger towards the Knicks, also because they need to sign two big free agents. Seriously, without Porzingis, who's gonna go to New York? Who's gonna sign for New York?
Yeah,
it has
exactly.
to be at least two big players. Obviously, now they have the space. But if you're Kevin Durant, what are you going to do? Are you going to sign for the Knicks before they actually sign a second free agent? No. What you're going to do is you're going to wait for the Knicks to, like, when it's midnight, I think on July 1st, to announce that they have signed this specific player who's probably going to be in the Knicks plans, Kyrie Irving or even Kemba Walker. And then you can sign Kevin Durant, because there's no fucking way that Kevin Durant is going to sign for the Knicks if they have not promised, or if he doesn't know that, you know, he's actually going to be, he's going to have a new teammate. And the thing is, around the league, all the NBA executives, they said the Knicks are either absolutely stupid, which is possible, or they know something we don't know. And you know, the league sources say they believe the Knicks are 99.99% sure they're gonna get KD. I don't think that's gonna happen, to be honest. But
I
hey,
mean, how in your right state of mind as a free agent, it's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but when you see how this franchise has been run for the last few years, how do you look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I think this franchise inspires me, and I'm going to sign with them for the foreseeable future. If you're Kevin Durant, if you're
that's the thing.
Kyrie, etc. So
I
I don't
was
understand why
yes,
they did that, and I certainly don't understand why they did that now. They could have waited this summer. This offer would have been available this summer. There was no rush to do
well,
that now.
maybe they really wanted Dennis Smith Jr. and Dallas was, no, I'm not kidding. Like, maybe Dallas was just shopping DSJ to everyone in the league, and that's who they wanted. And by the way, they could have got Dennis Smith Jr., but they decided to go with your friend Frank Frank
In
Ntilikina.
Tilikina, yeah.
So, are you kidding me? Like, that's insane. I read two things. First of all, being a big market does not count anymore, right? Because
Not as much.
Porzingis, he wanted out. He just wanted to win. So it's like, F you, New York. I'm sick of this awful front office. I'm out. And also I read the last player the Knicks drafted and then re-signed immediately after they drafted him was Charlie Ward in 1994. Do you know how old I was in 1994? I was 12. That's 24 years ago, dude. That's
This is
really bad
insane.
front office. You know, there have been teams like even Atlanta. Look at Atlanta. They've been drafting well. It's only year one of their rebuilding, or a year, 1.5. And they're doing well. They have John Collins. They have Trae Young. The Knicks are fucking awful.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know what to say for the Knicks. I'm sorry for all the fans. They just they just keep disappointing over and over again. Again, either KD has met with them secretly, which would be, I think, illegal, but whatever, and has told them, "Hey, I'm definitely signing with you, regardless of what you do. I just want to, max contract, and I want to play at Madison Square Garden 42 nights, 41 nights a year," or they just don't know what they're doing.
Okay. Sorry. We are blasting the New York Knicks. We are shaming them, but I'm not too sold on the trade for the Dallas Mavericks at all, man. I'm not happy, to be honest. Porzingis, he hasn't played in 1 year.
Mhm.
He's signing a qualifying offer, and he might be unrestricted in 2020. They have two contracts, like a big one, relatively big one for Tim Hardaway Jr. for 2 years for
Yes.
18 million. They have Coney Lee for 1 year, and they pretty much they don't have a first round pick this year. Most likely, they're not gonna have one in 2021. They're not gonna have one in 2023, and you're pretty much going all in because you're saying, okay, Kristaps is healthy. This guy is 7'3" and he's coming back from an ACL injury. No one has seen him in 1 year. But at the
I
same
think,
time, what I'm
yeah,
thinking
I
is
think
think
the
about
Mavs
Kawhi.
scouts
No,
probably have seen him. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
they
Yes.
probably went through, they're going through medicals. But at the same time, if I'm Dallas, yes, I have Luka Doncic. He's really good. I love him. Yes, I'm going to have Porzingis. But man, it's tough. I think it's tough, because you don't have three first round picks, and you are in the Western Conference. And how else are you going to? And you have also Harrison Barnes. So next season they have four players: Tim Hardaway Jr., Harrison Barnes, Courtney Lee, and who else? A fourth one for sorry for 90 million. For 90 million, are you kidding me? Obviously, you have two of the best players, one of the best players, and potentially two, because who knows what's going to happen to Kristaps Porzingis. But they're giving way too much. Too
So
much.
let me ask you this. Everyone has been, well, some people have been saying basically either New York is completely stupid or they know something that we don't, in the fact that KD is going to re-sign with them, and or Porzingis is actually not going to come back the same player that he was. Now, let me ask you this. Which franchise, you look at the history, would you trust more? The
Yeah,
New York
fine.
Knicks or Dallas Mavericks
Fine.
for
I
that
trust the
trade?
Dallas Mavericks. And you know what?
Exactly,
I think
100% of the time,
I
all
think
the
they were
time.
I think they
I
were
don't
very
think,
proactive as well. Like they
yeah,
learned from the past, because it's impossible to get free. It's very difficult, even with Dirk, to get free agents to Dallas. So what they said is, okay, let's be proactive. Let's trade and get like a unicorn. Like what Dirk said yesterday, when you have a chance to get someone like Porzingis, you go for it. And you know
absolutely.
what, man? Very underestimated. Dennis Smith Jr., he did not want to play in Dallas anymore. And you know what's very, very, very extremely underestimated?
Tell me.
You're not going to believe me, but Jalen Brunson is not that bad.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I think
Jalen Brunson.
he's talented as well. Yeah, he could
He comes from
certainly.
Villanova, where he was National Player of the Year. He won 2 national championships. So he's a very determined, disciplined player. He knows how to win. He's not gonna be complaining all the time like Dennis Smith Jr., and he can develop. Now, also remember, the pick is protected. If Dallas gets like a 1 to 5, they keep it. So, and now they are gonna tank.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
did sit down Luca last night. They didn't care about DeAndre Jordan. They didn't care about Wesley Matthews. They're going all in, and I'm excited. But at the same time, man, I'm like, far out. That's a bit too much. If it wasn't about the two first round picks, I'll be like, damn, that's a steal.
I understand your point of view, but I think the Mavericks definitely are the winners of that trade. That's my take on this. And I know that We said the same thing a couple of years ago when Paul George was traded to OKC and Oladipo and Sabonis came back, and we said, well, the Pacers clearly lost the trade; they could have gotten better, etc. And clearly, the trade was even, if not Indiana winning. But I don't know. This Knicks thing doesn't feel right, and it never really feels right. And sorry, Knicks fans. I don't know if you still exist out there. Good luck with your franchise, but Mavericks definitely won that trade. I think for the foreseeable future, even if Porzingis only comes back to 80% of who he was, he'll still be a fantastic player and a great addition to Luka Doncic. So looking forward to future highlights of the two best European players in the league.
Man, I would like to talk about the fact that the Western Conference is even more unbalanced. Like the discrepancy is even bigger now. But hey, for a while, like you made it very clear. The Dallas Mavericks are winning this. They are winning this trade, and you know what? In this kind of trades, you actually have to wait until the draft pick actually turns into someone.
Well, that's 5 years from now.
That's 5 years from now.
Cares about now?
Yeah, but remember, when the Lakers traded the rights for Marc Gasol to Memphis, everyone was like, "Yeah, who the fuck is Marc Gasol?" And then he became like an all-star. But let me,
They also got championships in the meantime for the Lakers, so not too bad a trade, eh?
Not too bad of a trade. But let's quickly talk about the two players that actually got traded to the New York Knicks. So Wesley Matthews and DeAndre Jordan. The
Alberto, I have lost you. I cannot hear you any longer. Are you still there? Or maybe you just do not have any data left on your 4G. I think you're gone.
I'm here.
You're here. You're back on.
Okay.
I will edit all that in the audio. So I lost you when you were going to talk about DeAndre Jordan and Wesley Matthews with New York.
Okay, cool. I'll start again. Okay, Sammy. So obviously you said that the Mavs have won this trade, and it's fine. I don't even want to talk about how big the gap. It's even become bigger. The gap between the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. It's crazy. But man, let's quickly, briefly talk about the two players that got traded to the Knicks, DeAndre Jordan and Wesley Matthews. Obviously they're going to be bought out by the Knicks.
Possibly.
They don't want them.
Yeah, I don't know what the Knicks are going to do.
Yeah, exactly. But it's actually quite interesting because for the type of league that the NBA is right now, there's more interest for someone like Wesley Matthews than for DeAndre Jordan. But my question to you is, Wesley Matthews, where is he going? They're talking about the Sixers. They're talking about even the Spurs, the Rockets. And where is DeAndre going?
Good question. The Rockets seem to always be in the running for I guess veteran players who want to try and win a ring with a team other than the Warriors. I have no idea. I haven't really studied that. I think that there are quite a few teams which could benefit from a 3-point shooter like Wesley Matthews. He's certainly a good addition to have off the bench. I wouldn't see him in a starting role, but off the bench, and really good defensive player still. For DeAndre, it's a little bit more difficult. I don't think he's a piece who can really help you compete for a championship. I don't know where you slot him in at this stage. I mean, he's really good, but he's not the type of player that you need in the playoff these days, based on how the teams play. But tell me, it sounds like you've done your research. So tell me, where do you think Wesley Matthews and DeAndre are signing if they're leaving New York?
For Wes Matthews, it could either be, let's wait until the end of next week, because if the Lakers trade for Anthony Davis, then they might need Wesley Matthews. And like you said, there's no starting spot for Wesley Matthews. Where if the Lakers are actually trading for Anthony Davis, it means that there are at least two positions in the starting lineup because they would have sold everyone. So the Lakers are potentially a candidate. Maybe the Sixers because he's a really good friend with Jimmy Butler, and probably the Houston Rockets as well. And if he gets the Houston Rockets, Darren Morey had, they need to, we need to give him a round of applause because they would have signed Austin Rivers, Kenneth Farid, and Wesley Matthews for zero. At the same time, we need to remember that he did really, really, like, he did a poor job at the beginning of the season, because the Houston Rockets team was really, really bad. For DeAndre Jordan, so far there hasn't been any mention of a buyout. Actually, the Knicks GM, he said that DeAndre could actually help the young Knicks in the remainder of the season. I think the Warriors could potentially be like a good team for DeAndre.
Well, they have Boogie now. I don't think
Uh,
they need a center to for this postseason run.
or if you have a spot, and remember that they actually have a spot with their injured player. I'm really sorry, I can't remember his name. They might even sign DeAndre, because if you can sign DeAndre, you never know. Like with DeMarcus, it's a player who's just got back 4 games from a torn Achilles. Why not? If you have the opportunity to get DeAndre Jordan in, he looks like a guy who fits really well in every single culture and franchise he plays for. So why not? At the same time, if I'm thinking East, I don't know. Even I don't know, man. Honestly, DeAndre Jordan is a bit outdated in the current NBA, but he's always a good veteran, and I really hope he doesn't stay for the Knicks. He doesn't play for the Knicks.
Yeah, look, I think he can be, he can make a difference in a team in the locker room with his playoff experience, but he's not signing with the Warriors. Let's be honest, and I don't think he would sign with any big team. But I'm saying that the NBA is
Okay.
completely crazy. I wasn't expecting Porzingis to be traded today. I was just waiting on Anthony Davis if this is going to fall out before the 7th of February. But so we'll see. But I don't think he goes to the Warriors. That doesn't seem realistic to me. Who knows?
Okay.
I call
Fair
your
enough,
bluff.
man. Cool, man. Look, before we actually call it a night, is there anything you'd like to cover? Because I have 2 questions for you.
Okay, well, I basically spoke about it in the introduction, but the other thing which is making me angry is obviously the NBA announced the reserves, and the coaches make 2 very poor decisions. One, not selecting Rudy Gobert in the All-Star game
Okay.
when he's having one of his best seasons defensively. He's certainly one of the best. Yeah, well, one of the best, if not at the moment the best defensive player in the league. Even if he doesn't necessarily lead the league in rebounds or block, he's actually leading the league in a lot of other statistics which don't necessarily show up in numbers. Particularly, I want to say how he disrupts completely any team attacking the
Okay.
basket
Okay. I can
because
feel
of
the
his
French
presence.
anger here.
Absolutely, very much. Révolution.
Revolution.
And the second player is obviously our boy Luka Doncic not being in the All-Star game. I think this is sad. I think the coaches should have recognized the incredible season he's having, and they should have signed him. Well, sorry, signed him. They should have let him has his first All-Star game as a rookie. I think that would have been a great achievement for him for his first season. I think he deserves it over Klay Thompson, who I don't think should be in. As for Gobert, I would have put him over LaMarcus. That's my personal choice. I can understand somewhat some of the arguments for LaMarcus, but he wouldn't have been my pick compared to Gobert.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I agree with you on Gobert.
Well, you have to
And
agree with me on Doncic. Come on.
on Doncic, yeah. Like, I think that Klay Thompson has been a little bit way too inconsistent, and this has been actually his worst season in the last 5. And
Yeah.
for Gobert, my question is, What else does this guy have to do in order to play an All-Star game?
It's insane. It's insane.
But I think
I
that
think
it's also time. Sorry to interrupt you. To for Adam Silver to say, okay, why are we actually limiting to 12 players for 48 minutes? Let's do 4 quarters of 15 minutes with 15 players. It's time, man.
I've heard the 15. I've heard the 15 player said before, and it's what a normal team is. I think it makes it makes sense, and I think we also need to get rid of the Eastern and Western Conference because obviously there were quite a few snubs in the West versus in the East. You had some players who got in who maybe shouldn't have been in.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I agree
let's
with you, man.
come on, Adam. You can do it. I'll give you a call tomorrow and remind you what you need to do to improve this league and get even better.
Cool, man. Cool. Two last questions for you again before we call it a night. What is Dallas going to do with Luka Doncic? Are they gonna shut him down, or are they just gonna say, "Luka, do whatever you want. He's gonna score 35 a night, 30 a night, probably average a triple double." What's gonna happen to Luka Doncic? Because the Mavericks are clearly tanking now. Clearly,
I don't think they're shutting him down. I think they continue the way they've been playing now. I think just naturally they're going to be a little bit worse than what they were before. Sorry, because of the players. They lost a lot of rotation players. They lost 3 rotation players. Yes, they're getting Courtney Lee and Tim Hardaway Jr., but that's not going to fill the gap for DeAndre, Dennis Smith, and Wesley Matthews. So I think they continue what they're doing. I don't think they're shutting down Doncic. I think he's going to continue to play. It might
all
be a
right.
little bit difficult because they're gonna lose a few games, but I think they're continuing. And certainly he's driving. I mean, apparently the atmosphere at Madison Square Garden yesterday was just insane because that was the first game of Luka Doncic
Yeah,
at MSG. I mean, this guy is making people buy tickets to go see NBA games. They cannot shut him down.
it's good. It's good, man.
Except the Pelicans are going to do that with Anthony Davis, but that's another story.
And that goes my last question of the day for this emergency podcast. Let's forget about Anthony Davis. In the next 7 days, who's going to be traded that might top up, your surprise of this morning?
Someone who is
Sorry,
going to be
sorry, not
traded,
top up. Top up
who will
is the
top up
wrong.
today's trade. I don't
Yeah.
think there's any. I think this was
All right, something that gets close to it.
um. I don't think Anthony Davis is being traded before the 7th of February. So I don't think that this will happen. I think we will see one of Carmelo, J.R. Smith, or maybe Jamal Crawford end up in a team who we were not thinking about. And that's going to be the second biggest surprise before the trade deadline.
Okay. My
What is your take?
my 2 takes: Boston trades someone, or Kemba Walker gets traded to Toronto.
What?
For Siakam? Yeah, for Siakam and Kyle Lowry. I write that down. If that happens, dinner is on you in Melbourne. Dude, it's been a pleasure as usual. First emergency podcast. I look forward to many, many, many more. Thank you so much for everyone listening to us. Thank you so much, Sami. Obviously, just a reminder, Alberto, Italian, living in Manila, Philippines, and Sami, French, living in Melbourne, Australia. 2 big friends. We've been friends for a long time now, and we still keep in touch with this podcast that is live on iTunes. What else, Sami?
Spotify,
Spotify
Google
and
Play.
Google Play, and we're gonna be on ESPN soon.
We're working on it very hard.
We're
And you
working.
can also find us on Twitter. The Twitter handle is _4.play. Thank you, Alberto, for another good podcast. That was fun.
And I'll speak to you soon, man. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks. See you. Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.